Hey everyone, welcome to another video. Before we get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to please do like, subscribe. It really helps support the channel. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So this is the Oh My Crit, the double race. This is the first of the two races, and this race is known to host some of the best Zwifters in the world. Some of them being pros in real life, and some of them being Zwift pros, others just being regular A racers trying to race the best of the best. I decided to hop into this race and give it a go to see how long I could hang on for and what I could do with this group. The race was on 4 laps of Volcano Circuit, a route that I was pretty familiar with, and it had a few important parts to it. One short steep climb, and then another downhill area, and another small surge after that too. So you can see here that my heart rate is extremely high, so that I was clearly giving it my all, and I wasn't hanging on so well. I had made it this far, so I intended to make it the rest of the race. I had 3.2 miles left, and there was just over a lap left in the race. Something that makes Category A racing different from most other categories is that there are often breakaways. So in a bit, you are going to see a breakaway form, and they're actually going to end up winning the race, which is extremely surprising considering the speed that A category races move at. My goal for this race was just hold on to the group and just draft most of the time, just try to get some experience with the group. I wasn't really thinking that I was going to have anything left for the finishing sprint because of how strong these riders are. And based off of other A races that I've seen, the group typically speeds up a ton in the final 2 minutes. So you'll pretty much need your peak 1 minute power and then an extremely strong 13 to 14 watt per kg sprint in order to win the race. Going up this little kicker here, you see some separation start to happen, and since this race has no power-ups, I wasn't too worried about getting power-ups. And right now I'm just trying to hold on to the group. I'm doing around 5 or 6 watts per kg. My goal was just to stay in the top 10 or 15 riders so that I didn't get dropped. And yeah, you can see that my heart rate is continuing to go up. It is now 212, which is pretty close to my max, and it is now 213. Right now I am just trying to hold on to the group because I know that there will be a big rush of riders behind me, and they'll end up swarming me up, so I need to catch back on to that group of riders, and then lower my heart rate going into the rest of the route. Since the final lap, I was expecting some more riders to chase the attack that was off the front right now. There were 2 riders who were off the front, so I was staying cautious, ready for a huge attack of riders. Going down this short little downhill, I did around 3 to 4 watts per kg just to stay towards the front of the group so that I could lower my heart rate and rest before the surges that were to come. So on this flat portion, this is really the most mellow part of the race typically, and this is when riders recover and get ready to do attacks on the small climb that is coming up in just a few seconds. This is the main part of the Volcano Circuit route. There is a short, steep climb where riders often attack, which you can see is being done right now. The 2 riders are still off the front and they're still holding off the group. I'm doing around 8 to 9 watts per kg, just trying to stay with these top few riders because they are all chasing now, and they're also trying to split the group up to increase their chances at winning the sprint off. The attack doesn't really drop any riders though. The riders tend to come back together on this little short kicker right after that, or the downhill after and the flat portion. You can see on the mini map here that the group is coming back to one blob. There are 2 riders off the front, one who has a pretty big gap and another who is chasing that rider. They are going to go on to win the race along with a few more riders who end up joining the attack in a bit. Okay, So here we are with 1 mile to go. The breakaway is still off the front, and these riders are probably getting pretty anxious knowing that there are really good Zwift power ranks up for grabs. So if they do end up not bridging the gap, there is quite a bit at stake for those who are really competitive. And since there are a lot of top riders in here, a lot of the riders are competitive. Right here you see A. Alvarado from Wahoo Lake Cole just fly off the front of the group, and he goes on to bridge the gap with the two riders. There's one other rider with him who is also chasing. That brings the breakaway into 4 riders, and the group is now starting to spread out with more and more riders chasing those riders to try and win using the breakaway. I try to sit in here and do as little energy as I can, but I find myself getting dropped, so I still ease back because there's still a significantly big group next to me, so I'm just going to use them to pull me back to the group. That didn't work quite as planned because I ended up getting dropped from that group too, so then I had to do a small search here, but by then it was already too late and the front group had been established. The breakaway was already going around, rounding the corner to finish up the race and win the race. I'm here with H. Musk, and we're just chilling because we've been dropped. There's only a 1 second gap between me and the lead group, but it actually is quite a bit if you take into consideration the speed that they're moving at. Here I try to do a small search just to try to get 29th instead of getting 30th. It doesn't really work, and the rider behind me ends up going through and beating me in the final few meters. Overall, this race was a great experience to try and expose me to some higher level racing, and I look forward to trying more of these races soon. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.